Hey everyone and welcome. My name's Fatma Nidal Murtaga. Today we're going to basically become time travelers. Cool, right? Our mission is to get a handle on the simple past tense. Think of it like this. It's the key that unlocks pretty much every story that's ever happened. So you ready? Let's dive in.
So, first things first, let me ask you something. What did you do last weekend? Seriously, think about it for a sec. Did you watch a movie? Maybe play a game? Visit a friend? Whatever it was, if you wanted to tell me about it, you'd need the simple past tense. It's just how we talk about stuff we've already done.
All right, so to really get good at telling those stories, we need to understand how our little grammatical time machine actually works, and that's exactly what we're going to do first. Let's figure out what the simple past tense even is.
Okay, here's the main idea, and it's pretty simple. We use the simple past to talk about actions that are completely finished, done, over with. They happened, they're in the past, and now we're just talking about them. The most important thing to remember is that the action is not happening now.
This timeline right here is a perfect way to picture it. See that point that says now? That's us, right this second. Anything, and I mean anything, that happened before that point, whether it was yesterday, last week, or even ages ago, that's a completed past event. It has its own little spot on the timeline, and it's all finished. And trust me, we use this tense all the time. You use it when you're telling a story, talking about your last vacation, or even just explaining what happened in a movie you watched. And you'll see a lot of clue words that go with it. Things like yesterday, last week, or 5 years ago. These words are like big, bright signs pointing straight to the past. Okay, you got the what and the when. Now let's get into the how. How do we actually make the past tense? The easiest place to start is with the verbs that play by the rules. We call them regular verbs, and you're going to love them because they're super easy to work with.
Seriously, for most verbs in English, the rule couldn't be simpler. You just take the verb, stick ed on the end, and poof, you've just sent that action back in time. It really is kind of like a little magic spell for grammar. And you can see that change perfectly right here. Look at the left side, under today. We've got, I play soccer, she watches a movie, we visit the museum. Pretty standard. But now look over at the yesterday column. The action is over, so play becomes played, watch becomes watched, and visit becomes visited. See? That little ed is your golden ticket to the past.
Okay, so that ed rule is awesome. It's our best friend. But not every verb likes to follow the rules. So now it's time to meet the troublemakers, the rebels of the past tense, the irregular verbs.
Yeah, these verbs are the rebels. They think they're too cool for a simple ed. Instead, they change their spelling in their own special way. And here's the tricky part. You can't really guess their forms. You just kind of have to learn them.
And here are some of the biggest ones you'll see all the time. Go becomes went, eat becomes ate, see becomes saw. You'd never say I gooed to the store, right? You'd say I went. This little chart here, definitely one to remember, because these verbs pop up constantly.
All right, so we know how to say something happened. But what about when something didn't happen? Or what if we want to ask a question about the past? Well, for that, we need to call in a special helper. And that magic helper verb is did. Seriously, did is like the superhero of the simple past. It swoops in to help us make questions and negative sentences, and it does almost all the hard work for us.
Let's walk through this. Step 1. You start with a normal past tense sentence. She played outside. Easy enough. Now, to say it didn't happen, we bring in our superhero. She didn't. But here's the super important part. Look at the verb. It changes from played back to its original form, play. Why? Because did is already doing the job of being in the past, so the main verb gets to relax. And it's the exact same thing for a question. Did she play outside?
This table lays it all out really nicely. For a positive sentence, the verb gets the past tense ending, I liked coffee. But when you bring in did for negatives and questions, it takes over. So the main verb goes back to normal. I didn't like coffee, and did you like coffee? Once you get that little pattern down, you've basically mastered it.
Okay, that's enough of me talking. The best way to learn this stuff is to actually try it out. So it's your turn to drive the time machine. Let's do a little practice.
All right, here's the first one. We need to fill in the blank. The verb is to do. So what's the simple past of do? Think back to that list of irregular verbs.
And the answer is did. I did my homework every day when I was in school. Yep, do is one of those super common rebels. If you got that one, awesome job.
Okay, let's do another. This time, the verb is to catch.
Now, is this one a regular verb that follows the ed rule, or is it another one of our rebels?
It's caught. Another irregular one. You definitely wouldn't say catched, right? It sounds a little funny. The correct form is caught. See? You're totally getting the hang of this.
All right, last practice question for now. We're going to switch it up a bit. Take this sentence and turn it into a question. How would you ask if this happened? Don't forget about our superhero helper verb.
That's it. You start with did, and then this is the most important part. You take visited and change it back to its original form, visit. So the question becomes, did they visit the zoo? Perfect.
So let's kind of wrap things up. This quote here really nails it. The simple past is the most basic way we talk about things that have already happened. Think about it. Every story you tell, every memory you share, it all relies on the rules we just went over.
So now you're officially a time traveler. You've got the skills, so I've got one last question for you. What's the first story you're going to tell about the past? Think of something cool you did, or something funny that happened. How would you tell that story now? Go on, the past is all yours to talk about.